Good afternoon. Today is the 19th of July. It's a bit of a grey and drizzly day here in Eastleigh, and it's time to do some more 2014 and 2019 MG3 comparisons. The MG3 Owners Club UK Facebook group have asked me to look at the infotainment system and the horns on both these cars. So I've got both the keys in my hand. I've parked the 2019 model some way away from this one, just so when I sound the horn, I don't get two horns sounding off next to each other, which is probably a little bit better. But we'll look at the infotainment systems of both cars, and we will also sound both horns, and we will see how that goes. Right, let's look inside my lady wife's car first. Just unlock it. Okay, so first thing you see when you get into one of these cars in the centre of the dashboard is the infotainment system, which looks like this. We'll just, excuse me for my fingers there, we'll just start the car up. I've already got my Bluetooth on my phone, so we'll see how long this takes to pair. One of the things that Matt Richards and Furious Driving said to me both times when we were driving this car and also the facelift car, he's the one who films reviews for me, by the way, on the MG3s, was that the radio will just start and it will just go through its sort of kind of medium volume, and there's nothing you can do about it. There isn't actually, there's no off button on the radio, which I've always found it perplexing. There we go. So we're just waiting for the music to come through on the system here, which it has done. There's a bit of Matt Gilman, but we'll have to mute that because don't want any copyright claims on my videos. Let's look at some other bits of the infotainment system as well. I'll just turn the engine off. We don't actually need the engine on for this. So we go into the menu. It's pretty straightforward, but what I do find a bit annoying is that the up and down volume buttons here don't go up and down through the menus, of course. You have to go side by side, and when you're driving, this gets actually very, very distracting. As you can see, I've gone into the RDS settings there, and if you don't get there really quickly, it just gets out of the menu. And so you can sort of be doing something very important down here, like adjusting the contrast or something, and suddenly it just will exit out. And I find that quite frustrating. Also, the buttons are quite small. The buttons on, the phone are quite easy to use. I mean, it's pretty easy to see what things do. Yeah. By the way, that song is not about Abba. It's about something else. It's a Hebrew word, actually, Abba, not the band. Lovely look, Rick Pino there. Yes, it's okay, this infotainment system. Particularly in 2013 when this car came out, it wasn't the worst one. But I think the new one is significantly better. Oh, let's just sound the horn, shall we, as well? Whilst we're here, I'll just open the door slightly so you can hear it. Right, that was the sound of the horn in a 2014 MG3. Right, that's a little walk down the street, and we're now at the 2019 car that MG have very kindly provided for me this week. I've done about 300 miles in this car so far, and so far so good. Let's open her up. Note that the rear lights on this car, they're similar shaped to the pre-facelift car, but they are completely different. So let's see what happens when we start it up. Again, I've got my phone ready with a Bluetooth, so it should just plug some fingers on here. We can actually start the infotainment system in this car without the key in it. If you press that button there, you see the MG logo just comes on like that. You can't do that in the pre-facelift car at all. Straight away you can see how large this display is, and also it reflects my wedding ring very nice. I'm sure my wife will appreciate showing me I've got a wedding ring on. So what we do straight away is we can look at the tyre pressure monitoring system. Now my 2014 MG3 style does have tyre pressure monitoring. That's standard on the car, but it's buried in the central screen menu here somewhere. This actually, oh, there we go. Abba by Rick Pino. We'll just pause that a second so we don't get a copyright claim. The phone system is much easier to use as well. So here we go. We can see on here, I'm not going to show you the call history or the contacts for obvious reasons, but it's actually very easy to use, and it's much easier than fiddling around with the little stereo in a pre-facelift car. You can see the tyre pressure monitoring system here. That would show me the temperature and the pressures of the tyres if I were to start it. You see that this little home button here, very similar to an iPhone, will bring it up. I haven't got an iPhone to test the system with, but I'm sure Apple CarPlay does work. It's a shame there's no Android Auto. Video and pictures. Now there's a USB port just down there, and I imagine you could just plug in a memory stick or something like that and show your videos and pictures on the screen. I don't quite know why you want to do that when phone screens are ever increasing in size these days, but it's there if you need it. The setup, it just sort of goes through in this particular car. Very kind of basic things like the audio settings and the RDS and DAB settings and the time. Again, it's just a lot easier to use than on a pre-facelift car. It doesn't sort of quit out when it thinks it's had enough, and you don't have to sort of scroll side to side because it's too confusing. It's a very simple system indeed. Once you realise that that is all you need to do to go back to the home screen, then it's simplicity itself, really. The only thing I would say about this is that the graphics are a little bit on the pink side, but it does mean you can identify them quite easily when you are, just glancing your eyes down to the left when you're trying to find the right option on the menu system. Whilst we're here, we will just quickly sound this horn as well. That sounded to me quite sort of similar to the one in the pre-facelift car, but you listen back to them both and see what you think. So if you found that video to be interesting, those are just a couple of bits which I've been suggested by the MG3 Owners Club UK Facebook group to do with this wonderful post-facelift car during the time that I have it, and compare it with my wife's car. Those are things which we didn't include in the review yesterday in any depth when we filmed it, because, well, it'd just be too long if we did that, and I didn't have two cars when we were filming to just test the horns, for example. But I'm going to be keeping this car for a few more days. I've done about 300 miles in it, I think probably slightly more than that, and I think by the end of it I would have done to 400 to 500 miles before the car gets picked up on Tuesday. So thank you very much indeed for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I also do have a walk around of the MG ZS EV electric vehicle, because I went to the launch of that this week in Marylebone in London with Planet Auto. I was the guest of theirs, and there's actually footage on their channel as well of me driving the ZS EV through central London. So don't forget to comment on this video as well, and to leave a like. My Facebook page is facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. And if you wish to source a car for you, it doesn't have to be an MG, it could be anything at all, then please visit my website to get in touch directly. It's www.lloydvehicleconsulting.co.uk, and there's a contact tab on the front page to send me through a message. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching, and apologies for the numerous appearances of my fingers on the lens in this video.